Tech Tales 57. Today is June 13th, 2021 on a Sunday morning, 7:02 a.m. Before I get started reading these time slips, we have a live streamed troubleshooting session scheduled today for 10 a.m. That's 2 hours after this video gets published. And then tomorrow at 1 p.m. we have another troubleshooting situation. So during these troubleshooting situations, the chat room will have the opportunity to pose questions to the client and offer their solutions before I chime in. So to check up on that, you can go to a browser tab and type in youtube.com, then /LWTDB, which is the acronym for my channel, LiveWindowsTraining-DougBetts. So LWTDB. Press enter, that takes you straight to my channel. And here is the scheduled session for this morning at 10 a.m. If you click on that, this will become the live session once it starts. But if you scroll down, you'll be able to read. Click on the show more here. You can read about the situation so that you can be prepared to assist or participate if you'd like to do that. So now let's move on with time slips. Now, the one for tomorrow, I will publish a scheduled live stream for that later today. So you can come back to my channel this afternoon and read about that one. So then, time slips here. This is for the law office Papa on Monday, May 31st, 22 minutes. It's 6:58 to 7:20 p.m. for Sierra Mike in the office. I'm going to start occasionally doing first and last name mnemonics when it makes sense to do that. So this time slip is essentially identified for Sierra Mike, which is one of the partner attorneys in the office. Configured Outlook for Golf Mike, Foxtrot Papa, Mike Victor, for WC, which stands for Workers' Comp. I talked about this yesterday or in a previous Tech Tales. WC at, and then the domain name of the company. So it created this new email account for Workers' Comp shared mailbox. Unable to configure for Mike Sierra due to remote access revoked. So this is kind of an unusual thing. I have unattended remote access configured for most of my clients, and when I went to connect to this one, it said that it had been revoked. Well, I think probably what happened is sometimes there's a window that's left open. All the time there's a window left open saying that I was connected. Well, there's an option in there to revoke remote access. I figured she probably clicked on that by accident. So now that was configuring Outlook. So I want to tell a little bit about this. I talked about this shared mailbox. What happens in Microsoft 365 when you create a shared mailbox? It has no password. You give other people access to that shared mailbox, which means in their Outlook, this will show up as another mailbox. So the way it shows up in the left-hand panel of Outlook, where you have the inbox and all the other mailboxes, down below that section, there will be another inbox for the WC email address. You just click on the inbox down there, and you can read the messages that are in there. If you reply to one of those emails, by default, you'll be replying from the WC email address or whatever the shared mailbox is that you set up. There's an option when you're creating that email, you just go up to the from line. You can click a drop down arrow to tell it to send the email from you, as in from your email address instead of from the shared mailbox. So some of these computers had Outlook 365 and some of these computers had Outlook 2010. The 365, when I first launch Outlook on those computers, it automatically comes up with that shared mailbox. Two of these computers had Outlook 2010. The first one, I had to go through a few steps to configure the shared mailbox to show up. Surprisingly, on the second computer with Outlook 2010, when I opened it, it was just there. Now I had to Google how to configure shared mailbox for Outlook 2010 because it was not obvious or intuitive. It was a little bit unusual, unexpected method to configure that. So then the next time slip, Tuesday, June 1st, 19 minutes for the law office, Papa again, 10:11 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. for another Mike in the office, and I don't even have the last name here, so I don't remember it. Confirmed by phone that the phone extension and name display are correct. Okay, in a prior time slip, I fixed the phone extension. So this is me following up. Now I want to mention this because it's significant to point out that I follow up on issues. I had already unsuccessfully configured her phone extension. At that time, I didn't follow up with them. So this was a callback. You know, when they call me and say, hey, it's not right. So I went in and fixed it. So this time I make a follow-up call to confirm that it's correct. They took about a week or so before they let me know that it wasn't correct in the first place. So I don't follow up on first-time actions. I assume they work. But a callback like that, I'll be a little more careful to follow up on. So then Mike Victor explained and demonstrated how the WC shared email box works in Outlook. She will explain to Foxtrot, Juliet, Mike Sierra, and Golf. Then for Mike Sierra, that's the computer that the remote access had been revoked. So for that computer, Mike Victor assisted me with reestablishing the remote connection, and then I configured Outlook on that computer for the shared account. So the user of that computer was not in the office that day. So the other Mike Victor helped me with that. So then let's go on to the next one. Tuesday, the June 1st, 17 minutes for the apartment building Golf. 7:53 a.m. to 8:51 a.m. with Charlie in that office, the administrator. Multiple phone and text communications to restore internet access and pursue next steps regarding a repeating fault with a smart switch believed to have been provided and programmed by, and then I give the name of their video surveillance system company. Charlie has opened a trouble ticket with them. So while I was on the phone with her, she went on her computer and opened a trouble ticket with them. So this office has, I've reported them before, where this switch would just power down. And the solution, the temporary solution, is to unplug it from the wall, wait 2 minutes, and plug it back in. And we probably don't have to wait full 2 minutes. I think 10 seconds will be enough. And this had happened intermittently over the period of maybe a month and a half. And there were occasions when it would go down. During their day, they would see on the system tray in the bottom right corner of the screen that the internet connection was lost, but then it would come right back on without them having to power cycle the device. This call was generated because she came into the office and she had reason to believe there had been a power outage over the weekend. Yeah, because this was on a Tuesday, Monday was a holiday. So when she came in, the internet was just flat down. When she texted me and we got on the phone together, she told me that she had already restarted the router. And a little bit longer into that communication, I realized, wait a minute, it's not the router that's at fault. I had labeled a power cord. This is a box mounted up on a wall that has their internet router and 2 switches and the DVR for the surveillance cameras. So there's a power cord that goes down the wall and swings over to a 90-degree wall and plugs into wall outlet. I put a label on it. If the internet is down, unplug this and plug it back in. Well, that's a switch. That's not the router. She specifically said she restarted the router. you'd have to get up into that box to do that. So I asked her, what do you mean you restarted the router? And so we kind of got into the details a little bit, and it turned out she had actually restarted the router, not the switch. She was reporting to me that it didn't solve the problem. Well, it turns out the person that I primarily trained for unplugging the power cable for the switch was not in the office at that time. She's the administrator. She's in a different private office. So she wasn't the one previously that had been unplugging the switch and plugging it back in. So I had her identify and disconnect the correct power cable, plug it back in. The internet came back up. But at this point, we've had this happen enough times that I just said, we need to replace this. We need to figure out who's responsible for the switch and replace it. They have 2 switches. I knew that at least one of them was a smart switch. It was programmed, and then the outlets on the ports on the switch were not the same, because I knew that if I plugged a computer into a wrong port, it will get internet, but it won't be able to get to the copy machine, which was kind of a strange thing. So anyway, she opened a trouble ticket with a surveillance system. We'll talk about the results of that in another time slip. That's it for today. I hope this was useful. Have a great day. Catch you later. Goodbye.